as we are working on bringing in Nicholas Moreano for real right now from Halas Hall.
He's already in.
Well, he was, but he made us wait, so we had to make him wait. That's the dirty pool that we do. Also, by the way, I kicked Nick's ass yesterday on the ping pong table. Ain't that right, Nick?
Every squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, Mark. So you had to get yours for the one time I was in studio.
Well, Mark Carmen is a nut. That's for sure.
All right. I mean, blind squirrel find a nut. That analogy does not apply to somebody that I beat the majority of the time, but that's okay.
Maybe that's why Hoag's not in today, because you kicked his ass on the ping pong table bad yesterday. Bad.
That was a good warm-up for Nick. I appreciate it. I appreciate
Light work.
Adam doing that for me. All right, Nick, you're out there. Flus talked. Braggs and I have watched it. Fields is coming up at 2:15. What was your top takeaway from Matt Eberflus?
Yeah, I'm actually writing an article about that on ALLCITY.com, so make sure you tune in for that. But, let's just kind of start with the injury updates right now, you guys, and what the Bears are dealing with. So you still have Roschon Johnson, Lucas Patrick in concussion protocol, and Kyler Gordon, and also Doug Kramer in the 21-day window to return. But, just looking at the concussion protocols, like those are so tricky. We're gonna say that. So with a guy like Roschon Johnson, you just never know, a guy that takes a lot of contact, obviously on every single play he's out there. So maybe just something to monitor, but as of right now, they're still in a concussion protocol. And then there was a question asked about Tevin Jenkins. Is he like the solidified left guard right now? And I think this is just the Flus kind of being the Flus, you guys. Let me know what you guys think. But he said that Eberflus, that he's still going to be in the rotation, Tevin Jenkins, and we're going to work through that during the process of this week. We're certainly they liked where Tevin Jenkins was at. But if you just watch the film, there's nothing that doesn't say that Tevin Jenkins shouldn't be solidified as the left guard moving forward, because he had a phenomenal game against the Washington Commanders, and maybe it's just more about getting him up to speed with things, with not having been a full go in practice up until last week, which is mostly walkthroughs. But I think Flus is being, again, his Flusosophy in saying that he's going to be in the rotation for left guard. But if Lucas Patrick can't go, Cody Whitehair is going to be your center. Eberflus said that they like that option there. So you have to, I think, just pencil in Tevin Jenkins as the left guard if everything goes according to plan, if he's healthy and is up to speed with everything in the conditioning. But I think that's something that, Bears should expect seeing 76 at the left guard position come Sunday against the Vikings.
It was a Flus moment.
I mean, shout out to Tony Daly there in the chat. It says he was being effusive.
He was being that's Tony. We might
artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, efflusive.
What did you just say? Artificial.
I had a stroke halfway through saying that. Okay.
Shout out to Lawrence who came up with artificial intelligence.
You're welcome.
And I feel better with my socks in the right position form that I wanted today. What, you got something for Nick, or can I keep on going?
You can keep going.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm just sitting here.
No.
Because you say Kyler Gordon, Doug Kramer on the 21-day to return, but I want Kyler Gordon to play now, Nick. I don't want to wait 21 days. I want him to play now. So is he going to play now?
I think it was a good shot of that, Greg, and we can't talk about who was or wasn't in at practice until practice is officially over, but I would say the signs are pointing towards Kyler Gordon playing, and, they had some guys step up in his place since he was on IR, like Greg Stroman, who spoke earlier in the week. So I think that, Kyler Gordon is someone that's very important to his defense. Matt Eberflus talked about that on Monday, and I think that he would be a big addition if he's able to go Sunday against Vikings.
So, Nick, you asked Matt Eberflus about the deep shots and if that's loosening up the defense. That's not exactly how you worded it, but I want to know where you were going with that question. What was the genesis of your thought of what you asked the Flus today?
Yeah, so, I mean, with the Bears being ranked number 3 in the league in terms of 20 plays of 20-plus or more yards, how does that impact the defense and what they have to do to adjust? Like, can you keep stacking the box if the Bears are still throwing deep on you? And, Eberflus kind of gave an answer where it's like, yeah, you have to make some adjustments to it. And, I would have liked it to be a little bit more detailed, but you can't really expect that. But I think that when you see an offense that's generating explosive plays, you can't keep running, a stacked box if you're getting deep plays downfield through the passing game. And same likewise if you're getting big chunks of yards in the running game when you're having people play coverage. So I think that's a good spot for the Bears to be in. They only have one win on the season, you guys, but They're creating explosive plays, on offense, which is exactly what you want to see from Justin Fields and the rest of those playmakers.
Nick does a great job, as you know, Greg, going through the tape each week. Nick is a self-proclaimed football nerd.
Yeah, when you highlighted the Nate Davis getting downfield, that definitely had me excited earlier.
What did get you most excited about the Commanders tape, Nick?
Well, I think when you look at it, especially like just looking at the offensive line, you guys, and yes, Larry Borom, I think, started the game strong. And then as the game kind of went on, you saw Chase Young be, Chase Young. But there was just so many good pockets for Justin Fields to just throw to in that game and just be able to hit those downfield throws. And I think when you're seeing that, you're seeing a quarterback that's in rhythm. You're seeing a quarterback play confidently. And that's obviously what you want to see moving forward from these two games where the Bears have been able to get more of those explosive plays. And then just defensively, you're seeing guys like Gervon Dexter start to pop a little bit more. So when you add up these guys that are now becoming more of contributors, that's obviously a positive sign moving forward. And just Eberflus's willingness to blitz, you guys. I know that the front four for the Bears have not gotten home as much as you would like. And even this Commanders game, they got the 5 sacks, but how much was in garbage time. I like that, you saw TJ Edwards come on a blitz. You saw Tremaine Edmonds. You saw Greg Stroman come off the edge. So you're seeing more of a willingness from Eberflus. And I think he needs to make those adjustments given how the defensive line is currently playing. But, if guys like Gervon and Zach and, even guys like Yannick Ngakoue and DeMarcus Walker, they start, intensifying their play, starting to execute 4 as 1, then maybe you don't have to be as blitz heavy. But until that happens, I'm okay with Matt Eberflus being a little bit more aggressive, bringing other players other than the front 4 to apply pressure on the quarterback.
If you haven't hit the like button, hit it for Nicholas Moreano because you love him and his coverage out at Halas Hall. Yes, Greg.
Yeah, I was just curious your thoughts with Gervon Dexter.
Me too.
Did it seem like he took a step this week? People out there that really break down the tape better than I can say he did. Is there any clarity on where he suits better as a 1 technique or a 3 technique?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, I know that when you look at some of the plays, he's made some at the 1, some at the 3, but I think where the Bears were originally penciling him as a 3 tech is probably not where his strength is right now. If he had that quicker get off, it didn't jump up, kind of stand up immediately as a snap goes up, then, it's probably not his game right now. So at the 1, I think he could do a lot of damage just because of how powerful he is. Like when you see some of Gervon Dexter's, highlight plays or the plays where he's making an impact, there's just a lot of strength involved. So I think that's where he'd be almost suited there when, a guy like, why am I blanking on Andrew Billings is not maybe in the game because he's been really impactful, you guys. But yep. I think that's where you can see a Gervon Dexter right now start to make an impact. But if he can just continually, gradually get better with the get off and staying low, then maybe you can suit him more out to the 3 tech where the Bears were kind of envisioning at first. But I think that's where Gervon Dexter's at right now. It's not to say that he can't get better, but yeah, we'll have to see where his progress goes and how he can continually just get the fundamentals down. As we all know, the Bears are very big in the fundamentals, but if he can do those things, then maybe they can slide him out more to the 3 to where, again, they originally thought he would play more.
So Pro Football Focus, this graphic's been making its way around. Minimum of 25 snaps, and it's only for week 5. Rating the rookies. Joey Porter Jr., the Steelers, was at the top, which, by the way, the Steelers picked him with the Bears Claypool pick. Let's not talk about that, Carm. All right, Gervon Dexter was 3rd, 85.5. That's ahead of Devon Achane, who has been killing it for the Dolphins and was killing it last week until he got hurt. That's ahead of Jaylon Carter by 10 points. Darnell Wright is on there too, by the way. It's ahead of C.J. Stroud, who orchestrated a go-ahead late touchdown drive in a game that the Texans lost to the Falcons, but that was pretty damn impressive. I don't know. Does that grade? Because Pro Football Focus, their grades are all over the map. Sometimes they make sense, sometimes they don't. Do you think that makes sense? 3rd for last week from what your expert film analysis, Nick?
Man, I mean, there are a lot of good names on there, and without really diving deep into some of the other guys and what they're actually able to do, I mean, he was impactful. Like Gervon Dexter, that was his best game of his season against the Commanders, and that offensive line has had its struggles leading up to that Week 5 matchup. And every time I see Jalen Carter, I feel like he's making plays in the backfield. Devon Achane was, a guy that was making a bunch of plays too. So I don't know if it's right, but it's nice to see that you have a couple of young Bears players on there. Like Darnell Wright's been awesome. Darnell Wright has been, everything you want out of the number 10 overall pick. The only thing that I keep seeing game to game, he will put his head down when he makes an initial block and kind of lose the block when he does that. But other than that, like you're seeing his force, you're seeing his power, you're seeing everything, that the movement skills. Like we all saw the play where he's pulling, being the lead block, and absolutely annihilates the cornerback on the play. Poor DB, like no DB ever wants to be in that situation with a 300-plus pound offensive lineman barreling down on him. But yeah, he's been really well. So it's good to see those young guys are, at least charted with some of the other younger, better players in the league right now.
Yeah, when it comes to PFF, I only use their stats when it fits my narrative. And then if it doesn't fit my narrative, then I wipe it away and call it nonsense. That's my strategy.
Well, the Terrell Smith's on there, and King Coot just talked about him. But breaking down the Flus in his press conference, when he was asked about Terrell Smith today, the dude, he lit up, did he not, Nick? I mean, the guy looked so excited about, do you think that he's going to be on the field? And it's almost like Flus almost felt like he was ready to cut Jaylon Johnson on the spot for Terrell Smith, the way I was seeing how happy he was.
He definitely lit up when he was talking about Terrell Smith. I think it's because when you see Terrell Smith's game and what he does the little things right. One of the things he mentioned, his tackling has improved, his coverage ability, he competes, and obviously the takeaways that he created. Yeah. So when you see those little things show up consistently, and he's filling in for, obviously a big spot in Jaylon Johnson, like that's obviously a positive. And I think the question was phrased like, if he keeps playing, could, maybe is Tyreek Stevenson's job in jeopardy? Because that was a thing early on in training camp. And then Tyreek Stevenson separated himself with a little bit more of those turnover, I guess, flashier type of plays. But I think ideally, Eberflus wants a guy that's going to do his job, execute it. You don't have to worry about him. If you could do that, that's probably going to be the thing that Eberflus really values. And, of course, if you can create turnovers like Terrell Smith is doing, you're going to be in a positive light with the Flus there.
Anything else for Nick before you get too deep in your phone over there?
I was going to tell someone in the chat they suck.
Lohman?
Yeah, Lohman, you suck. Anyway, so, yeah, getting ahead, like you said, maybe Tyreek Stevenson jeopardy.
I'm Lohman, by the way.
You're Lohman. Okay, well, then you suck. To me, the question, I guess, because you know me, I love to fast forward to things that aren't in the now, and then Bears fans get mad. But you say Tyreek Stevenson, maybe his job's in jeopardy. But when we saw the way they handled Roquan Smith last year, trade deadline starts to approach. If Terrell Smith keeps taking steps, you have Tyreek Stevenson who's looking better. Is there a chance if they can't come to some kind of a contract agreement that they start considering to move Jaylon Johnson for draft equity?
I mean, is there a chance? There's always a chance, Greg, and I think that the Bears, they do like Jaylon Johnson, and Johnson said that he'd play play the season despite not having a new contract. But it would give the Bears flexibility at the position. Obviously, get a lot younger on a rookie deal with a guy like Terrell Smith. But I mean, then I look at the depth, you guys, at the cornerback position. If you don't have a guy like Jaylon Johnson, then you're expecting two rookies to kind of be the main staples, and you're one injury away from being in a really bad spot, just at the outside cornerback spot.
Yeah, I guess it would come down to where the team was at that point.
They're not trading Jaylon. They're signing Jaylon because they're smarter.
I hope so. I'm just, all options are on the table.
Polls learn that getting rid of good players is not a great idea. And Jalen's got to get himself back on the field, but we're expecting to see him this week. And he was expecting to cover Justin Jefferson, which he's not. Nick, on your way out here, and this is not because you're a terrible gambler. I think you lose every single week. But I want to ask you, the Justin Jefferson news comes out that he's going on IR, ain't going to play this week. The line moves a 0.5 point. The Vikings went from a 3-point favorite to a 2.5-point favorite. What the hell do you make of that on your way out here? Because I found that to be pretty shocking. I would have thought that would have been like a 3-point move.
It went up in the Bears' favor.
I guess in the moment, answering my own question, like maybe people were factoring in that they already thought that he was hurt when the line originally came out. That would make the most sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting because obviously Justin Jefferson is a top, arguably the best receiver in the league, and anytime you don't have him, you have a better advantage, defensively. And guys, I want to get your perspective on this real quick because Eberflus was asked about Jefferson not being in the lineup, how that adjusts the defense. What happens when Justin Jefferson's not in? And I'm gonna read you verbatim what he said because a lot of Bears fans are pissed at Eberflus for some reason. I'm not quite getting it. He said, certainly you adjust your scheme to a great player like that, alluding to Justin Jefferson. It's always a handful of guys that you would do that for, so it allows you to play more basic, more solid on both sides, as opposed to tilting your coverage one way or the other. So that's the basic way of saying it without giving too much. Do you have a problem with that, what Eberflus said about Justin Jefferson not being in the lineup, so you don't have to tilt your coverage that way? You can play more of what Eberflus and the Bears like to do, that cover two basic kind of defense.
Fairly obvious to me.
No, I don't, and I don't get what is the beef?
I think the beef is where's the beef is right. I think Bears fans took that the wrong way, like, oh, you're just gonna play basic coverage the entire time. I just think it's like you're not gonna tilt your coverage the same way to Jordan Addison as you would to Justin Jefferson. That'd be crazy. He's a rookie, and I know he's producing, but you don't do that.
Right, or T.J. Hawkinson. That's
exactly
ridiculous. But I think you just nailed it, because that's, if I've learned one thing about doing the show every day, is that the focus becomes on one word or one thing, and the rest of the whole context of what he's saying just gets lost.
Yes.
The Bear fandom, God bless all of you. You like to zone in on the one,
right?
And if you have that and that piece of red meat, then nothing else matters,
right? Like if I say Carm is old, but he's really good at tennis, and he's actually pretty nimble for his age.
That's right.
And all this stuff.
All you
hear is that he's old.
All I heard is old, and I want to fight you. So on that note, Nick, you're the best. We'll be looking forward to the coverage on Justin Fields at 2:15 and everything else that's going on at Halas today.
All right, you guys, have fun.
There he goes, Nicholas Moreano, the man that I smoked on the ping pong table yesterday.
We all silly like the mayor.